to body fat for energy, and that's what the main goal is. Hi guys, so I wanted to make a follow-up video from the video I just posted, how I was able to start losing body fat again. If you haven't checked out that video, make sure you do. I'll include the title right here, and hopefully that will be able to give you some answers if you've been struggling for losing weight. And I wanted to go a little bit more in depth with it today and talk about some more solutions because a lot of you have asked me lots of questions, and I figured I'd go a little bit more in depth. The cause of obesity. Cause of obesity is due to hormone imbalances, insulin and cortisol. Too much insulin, too much cortisol. I've talked about how insulin rises, I talked about how cortisol rises, and I just want to give you guys a good understanding again, just a refresher. Insulin rises with like carbohydrates, eating a meal, even protein. Your insulin's gonna rise. Every time you eat, your insulin rises in some way, but we try to include certain foods that doesn't allow your insulin to rise as much because you don't want your insulin high throughout the entire day. Cortisol rises when your body's under stress in any type of form, like you're stressed about your job, you're stressed you're not getting enough sleep, relationships, whatever it is, some type of stress in your life that's going to cause cortisol to rise. And you really want to pay attention to these two hormones and really try to make them more stable. So I'm going to get into more detail with that now, but I want you to have a good understanding with your body and understand the fact that not all calories are equally fattening. The body cannot measure calories. So understand, like, let's say you go on a meal plan or you go on macros, whatever you do, and you tell you're being told, or what you've figured out yourself, that you're eating about, let's say, 1800 calories a day. Your body cannot tell the amount of calories that it's eating. It's not saying, okay, well, I'm eating 1700 calories a day, so that means I should be losing weight. It doesn't do it that way. So understand, like, a cup of kale is not the same as a donut. Even if like it's the same amount of calories, your body is not responding the same way for each one. One's going to cause a really high insulin spike, the other will not. Not all calories are created equal. So just have a good understanding as to, like, choose your whole foods wisely and your tree foods when that time is like necessary. A low calorie, low fat diet fails 98.2% of the time. So that's a pretty high percentage, 98.2%. So if you're somebody thinking they need to go on a low calorie diet and a low fat diet, understand you're going to fail probably 98.2% of the time. So what is the alternative to that? And I would say a higher fat, higher calorie diet. If you're somebody who's dealing with hormone imbalances and have insulin resistance, this is more so going towards a diet in more fats and higher calories. Your body doesn't really run good on low calories, and it's not sustainable. You're not going to have energy for long periods of time. Like, you're going to notice you're going to feel really lethargic, brain fog, maybe some bloating, all stuff like that. You really don't want to stick to low calories. That's not going to be the answer to your problems. And if you're somebody who's been in a diet and not seeing results, that's a sure sign that it's time for you to start increasing calories. I do this with clients all the time. They come to me, they're eating like 1600 calories a day. Sam, I'm not losing weight. I've tried to even like lower my calories even more, not losing weight. And from there, we reverse diet. They start losing weight again. They have better energy. They feel stronger. So lower calories is not the answer. It's more so manipulating the carbs and fats in certain ratios, so that way you're starting to see the results again, starting to see repairs in your hormones again, and just taking the right steps in order to start making progress again. So lower insulin the fastest. If you want to lower your insulin the fastest, it's gonna deal with intermittent fasting. I'm sure you've heard about intermittent fasting before, and people do all different types of intermittent fasting. I made a video on intermittent fasting and I got some amazing feedback. People said I made it really easy to understand. So I will include the video right here. Make sure to check that out if you want me to hear like a really in-depth topic of intermittent fasting. But intermittent fasting is basically eating within a 12-hour period or less, as opposed to, I mentioned in the other video, people eat typically between 14 to 15 hours a day, like eating continuously in that time period. You want to sort of limit your eating windows. So some people like to do 12 hours, some people like to do 8 hours, some people like to do 6 hours. It really all depends. But if you are new to intermittent fasting, I would start off with a 12-hour period, because that's like pretty much the longest you can go, and then gradually like decrease your periods from there if you want to. But 12 hours is really good. If you can at least do 12 hours, have 12 hours you're eating, 12 hours you're in a fast, and that's going to really lower your insulin. You really want to get that insulin down, and other hormones will start being released when the insulin is low. Insulin tells your body to store food energy. This is why we want that insulin low. We don't want our body's always in that state, and if you're always eating, you're always going to be in that state. You're telling your body to store that food as energy, which is, as we know, is fat. So don't lower calories, you want to lower your insulin. So when you're thinking of dieting, don't think I need to lower my calories. I need to instead lower my insulin. Lower carbs or intermittent fasting. So benefits of fasting. What is really good about fasting? How could this be beneficial towards me? Weight loss, decrease in the prevention of like type 2 diabetes, concentration. So like I mentioned, when insulin's low, other things rise. So when insulin falls, the other hormones increase, like adrenaline increases, your metabolism increases, your body is able to work on other parts that it isn't able to because your insulin's so high. So when that hormone goes down, it allows it to go work on other things. So you'll notice like you'll have better skin health, you'll have more concentration. I love when people say like you need carbs for energy, you need carbs for energy, or you need to eat for energy. You definitely need to eat for energy. It's not like you're not eating, you're eating for fuel, like eating for health. You're not eating for energy. Your body can actually live off itself. If you have excess body fat or something, your body can actually live off itself. It doesn't need you to always be eating for energy. So when the times that you're not eating, your body can switch actually from utilizing its food sources for energy and go to body fat for energy, and that's what the main goal is. You start utilizing your own body fat for energy. And you'll notice, let's say like a Thanksgiving meal. You eat a big Thanksgiving meal, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lay down on the couch, not do anything, and not be so concentrated. This is why, think about this, like eating large meals is going to make you more tired. If you just eat less frequently, but good whole foods and right portions of carbs, fats, and proteins, you're going to have better concentration. You're not so focused on eating, and the times that you are eating, you're eating that's going to fuel you for an entire 24 hours. There's people who fast for literally 24 hours 3 times a week, but I wouldn't go to that extreme unless you've been very experienced with fasting. But we are not meant to be eating constantly. It's not going to make you lose weight. It's not going to make you feel energized. It's just going to bog you down. Too much food is going to make you feel like you're bogged down and tired. So when you're fasting, your body goes through autophagy. Your body breaks down these proteins that are older and the parts that aren't working. So they're breaking it down in order to build it back up. And the increase in growth hormone, and it's rebuilding all that new stuff, all that new protein. So you're able to put on muscle and have more energy and have better cells inside you. So it's breaking down all those old ones while your insulin's low, while you're in a fast. It's able to break down all that old stuff in your body that it doesn't need and rebuild and build new cells. That's going to make you even better. Also, another benefit of fasting is shutting down growth pathways. Growth pathways that lead to disease and cancer. So when the body isn't eating, it's able to shut down those pathways for that types of growth. So you'll actually decrease the risk of getting disease and getting cancer. This is huge, 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 huge. And you know, I've read a lot about like causes of breast cancer, and certain types of cancer are really caused from like higher insulin and obesity and stuff like that. And you really want to make sure that that hormone stays low. Not always, like don't be so stressed it always needs to be low. I don't want you to think that needs to be the case. but understand on a day-to-day basis it's not high throughout the entire day, practicing intermittent fasting if you need to, and realizing the positive benefits on your body. So for me, I typically do a 10-hour fast, sometimes less, sometimes 12, depending on the day, but I do like to do like a 10-hour fast. I'll typically eat my first meal around 1 p.m. and stop eating around like 8 or 9 p.m. and that really works for me, but everybody's different. So I would say like start with the 12 hours, then start decreasing from there. This is just more so getting on top of your health, decreasing the risk of obesity. If you are obese, this is a really good starting point, starting intermittent fasting, and then monitoring your ratios between carbs, fats, and proteins so that you're having throughout the day. So let's try like maybe a more higher fat diet, then more of a higher carb diet, but still a high calorie diet. Your calories can still be high if you're eating lower carbs. I think people go like automatically when they hear low carb, I'm going to be low calorie, and that's not the case. Fats have way more kilocalories per gram than carbohydrates, so definitely more fats is going to equal way more calories. And fats are really good. So recommended fat sources for me, I use like olive oil, coconut oil, avocado, almonds, tahini. I'm trying to think of more. Butter, like grass-fed vegan butter, I really like that. So all those different types of sources are really good, and if you like other nuts, they're really good as well. So I would try to focus more on my diet around there. Lots of vegetables, good sources of protein. I've lately been doing like more plant-based proteins and fishes, and not too much like chicken or red meat. Just been trying to stay away from that right now, and I feel so good, like so good. And just finally like getting on top of my health, getting control of my body, like being in control of my decisions. You need to be honest with yourself. Like if you're frustrated with your progress, are you doing everything you can? Have you tried different methods? Are you ready to fully be committed? Like people really need to ask themselves, like if they're frustrated, like I used to be frustrated, but then like I would look at myself and I'd be like, I'm not fully giving my best. You have to fully give your best. You have to fully care about it, value your health, value yourself enough to really stay committed to something. And I see that a lot with clients, and we do like a lot of mindset talks to really like get you through it, and it's a really great community. So if you guys have questions about intermittent fasting, about type of macro diet in order to start making progress again, you can definitely ask me. I have a link below where you can send me a contact form and we can talk. You can do a free assessment to see what would really work for you. That is basically what I wanted to talk about today, and hopefully this helped a little bit, because I mentioned like about the insulin resistance, but I didn't really give you, I talked about having more fats and lower carbs, but I didn't talk really too much about intermittent fasting, and I wanted to touch on that again today. Even though I did include like a really in-depth video, it does really help with insulin resistance. So this is a really good follow-up video from the video before. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't. And as always, I will definitely see you in the next video. Bye.